Welcome to Scumbags of the Internet, the feature where I find someone being an absolute taint twister to someone else online and expose them for your amusement. Sometimes they're a celebrity, and sometimes they're just an ordinary asshole. Today, it's a few famous fucks for you. The Kings of Leon, Chance the Rapper, and possibly more. It should come as no surprise that I hate censorship when it comes to reviews. If a person doesn't like a bad review of their work, too bad. They shouldn't block it, or have it taken down, or threaten people to remove it. I've experienced the first two, but never the third one, because I post my reviews on YouTube, where cowardly companies don't have to threaten me. They can just claim them under copyright infringement. But you can't just do that to MTV, aka music television. For that one person that doesn't know what MTV is, they're the reason music videos are so popular now, despite the fact that they barely show them anymore. It hasn't been the channel's focus for decades now, but that hasn't stopped every fucking person born since 1990 to go, remember when MTV used to actually play music videos? Even though they wouldn't remember either. So anyway, about a year ago, MTV thought, oh, maybe we'll make music the focus of our website, with an intent to do about the most revolutionary and forward-thinking thing that we can try to do for music journalism, according to their editorial director of music, Jessica Hopper. They wanted to get more diverse writers to write more intelligent pieces than, her new Katy Perry's soons? Here's a quote from Jessica Hopper around that time from the Huffington Post. As someone who came up in a time where music criticism was basically the dominion of 38-year-old white men who all agreed on the same canon of what was good and who was allowed to say what about what artists, the fact that we could have such a young staff, such a diverse staff, and that be considered fundamental to our success here is my editorial dream and my dream of the world. She recently left for Spotify, and a bunch of other journalists took off as well. And now that dream is deader than half the artists' careers whose music videos MTV used to play in the 80s. Because no, instead of 38-year-old white men telling you what you can and can't write, you've got white guys slightly younger in their 30s telling you what you can't write, as well as a 24-year-old black man. What do I mean by this? The Kings of Leon and Chance the Rapper both forced MTV to kill reviews of their work, threatening to back out of commitments or to not work with them on future projects because of negative reviews of their current work. Chance the Rapper's manager said that he would, quote, never work with MTV again, and spoke for Chance by saying, Chance and I got together and both agreed that the article was offensive. So here's what Chance the Rapper found offensive. A man who rapped the line, if one more label try to stop me, it's gon' be some dreadhead niggas in your lobby. Perhaps not surprising, threatening people who won't work with him the way that he wants to be worked with. This is from an article called Chance the False Prophet, originally published by MTV, later published by Medium by David Turner. This is with regards to Chance doing a rendition of gospel singer Chris Tomlin's How Great Is Our God. That the Southside Chicago native chose Tomlin's maudlin song instead of any number of other better gospel standards should have been an early red flag of the emotional disconnect I was starting to feel with Chance's work. Oh man, emotional disconnect? Whoa, settle down now. Let's not say things we can't take back. He's more interested in imparting fatherly lessons than in grappling with the unease of early adulthood. Oh fuck, did you actually say that? Really? No! It cannot get worse than that, can it? Here's hoping that on his next project, he remembers that even a life full of blessings can be complicated. Oh, I can't believe it! I cannot believe a person would say those things about another human being's work. Can you? Oh, never mind. Shut this video down. I was wrong. Chance was right. MTV is hate speech. So back to reality. Chance the Resistor was upset by this, so MTV said pull it. Spin published this private conversation they got their hands on. M&T, Music and Talent, one of MTV's other divisions that Chance and his manager probably cried to, asked us to unpublish and scrub the review from social media as they attempt to repair this with him and his management. It is upsetting for obvious journalistic reasons. We stand behind everything we publish. Except They don't stand behind everything they publish because they felt keeping a good relationship with someone who wasn't even famous at the time and who's only famous now because he's a featured artist on a song with 3 or 4 other actual famous people was more important than journalism. The reviewer, by the way, was a young black writer. So MTV had a person in the demographic, a person who was a fan of Chance's previous work, and a person of color, review the album, and this was still the outcome. Yeah! We'll get young, diverse voices of this generation to speak the truth about today's music. Unless that truth isn't good, and the artist might be able to make us more money than the truth down the line by appearing on some fucking shitty TV show we produce. Then we'll have to delete the truth. Kings of Leon's story is similar. They were scheduled to perform at the MTV Europe Music Awards and threatened to cancel that appearance because they caught wind of an article that called their recent album no longer just middle of the road, it's almost aggressively anonymous, and that it was neither a return to Kings of Leon's svelte roots nor a reinvention worth investing in. And so, they deleted the review. This is the nicest review of the Kings of Leon I've ever read. They fucking suck. They're whiny, repetitive puss rock. I stand behind my musical autopsy of them from 7 years ago. They are probably the worst rock band to have ever put out a professionally produced album. I would rather be strapped to a chair with noise-canceling headphones on, listening to Coldplay in one ear and Nickelback in the other, while Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy takes sips of cat piss and spits it at me, than ever have to listen to an entire Kings of Leon album. So obviously, the Cunts of Leon and Chance the Rhymer are scumbags, but what about MTV? Clearly, they have no balls, and, more importantly, no integrity. Now I realize how silly it sounds for me to have expected that the channel responsible for the fucking Jersey Shore would have any integrity, but how much other shit like this has happened? How many negative stories have they killed because an artist said they wouldn't participate in their shitty award shows anymore? How many fluff pieces have they published under the guise of journalism that was just fed to them by the artist so that they'd do something for MTV in return? Maybe we'll never know, but we know these 2 incidents happened, and that's enough for me. So, thanks to today's scumbags of the internet, Chance the Rapper, the Kings of Leon, any other artist who had threatened someone to take down a bad review of their work, and MTV for taking the reviews down instead of telling these people to fuck off, for showing us that no matter what we do in life, we'll always be better than they are.